YoungAmericans4Liberty.com.
I'm with Jeff Frazee of the Young Americans for Liberty. You worked for the Students for Ron Paul. Actually, you ran the show there, right?
Yeah, I worked for Congressman Paul's presidential campaign from July 2007 through, I guess it hasn't stopped. You know, it's just been,
That's the point.
It's been a continual campaign.
Who is this Ron Paul gentleman?
For me personally, he's very much a good friend, and he's been very helpful in my career path, my personal life. I'm actually, I met my fiance through his congressional office when I was intern at his office. But politically speaking, he is a statesman, and he'll go down in history as probably the best constitutional congressman our country's ever had.
We interviewed Ron Paul, Pete did, from Motorhome Diaries, and you know, Ron Paul said the ideal is self-government, right. You know, the individual rule. So, okay, tell us about Young Americans for Liberty, and why should young people get active with you guys?
Well, I mean, we are the youth movement for liberty. It's important that we get young people engaged while they're young, to not only learn about the ideas, become educated on the philosophy of liberty, but then once you have the ideas and you know what it means to be either a libertarian or a strict constitutionalist or limited government conservative, that you can take those ideas and involve with an organization like Young Americans for Liberty that will help you organize on campus, train you in the nuts and bolts of politics, and hopefully develop someone who might be either a campaign manager or a candidate to run for local office. And out of all of that, hopefully the cream will rise to the top, and we'll be able to develop future Ron Pauls. We're a sister organization to Campaign for Liberty, so we try to help out each other and coordinate as much as possible. But what they're doing is phenomenal with organizing grassroots activists to call their representative, put pressure on them as a constituent.
Libertarianism hasn't really seen a powerful activist base until the Ron Paul Revolution. Is that fair?
I mean, in my short lifetime, that's definitely true, and through the history I've read, I mean, it's mostly been a debate society and an educational movement, mostly around the ideas, which is very important, but I think the beauty of that and that history is it's laid the seeds for now the activism to come through. And now that we have the ideas, we understand the ideas, there's countless number of resources to learn about the ideas. Now it's taking those ideas and putting them into action. Where I see my niche fitting in, Young Americans for Liberty's niche fitting in, the Campaign for Liberty's niche fitting in, is being the activism within the box, within the political process. We actually talk about real ideas in the mainstream political debate and how liberty can solve many of our modern problems.
Okay. So what would you say to people, like myself, that believes that the system is what needs to be battled and not work within that system?
Well, I agree with you in the premise that the system needs to be battled. I think that all libertarians disagree with the way the state of government currently is. I guess probably where we would argue is the means to achieving our ends, where I'm much more of the sense that you've got to, well, for lack of a better phrase, infiltrate and destroy. You've got to go after the power source and dismantle from there. I don't have any sort of loyalties to one party or the other, but I do recognize the Republican Party has more tradition of liberty, maybe not recently in the past 10 or 15 years, but I think historically with Barry Goldwater and Robert Taft and some of those who have come from a Republican little r mindset, that's the party we want to shape and form. And right now there's such a great opportunity with the disarray the party's in that we can inject the ideas of liberty and kind of bring the GOP back to its roots. And there's I think a powerful message that we have and the real opportunity to make a large impact.